In this video, I will go over the top 5 project management courses that are actually still worth it in 2025, based on my own experience from other project managers and recruiters, as well as data I have collected and researched. Together, we will look at every course and evaluate whether it will actually be recognized in your country, whether it teaches practical skills that you'll actually use, and whether the investment is worth it for your career path. If you appreciate this kind of content and want me to make more videos like this, let me know by hitting the like button and subscribe to my channel. Number 5 on the list is the Google Project Management Certification. Now, this course is mainly for beginners and entry-level project management positions, as it teaches the foundational skills of project management. It has less weight in senior-level project management positions and is more so for juniors who want to show that they are familiar with the context and are willing to learn. As for recognition, in the US, it is more and more respected by tech companies and startups. In the UK, there is more and more recognition for this type of course, although even here, it is more so for entry-level positions. In Europe, this course only has limited recognition, and having worked myself in Germany, the Netherlands, and Spain, I can confidently say that many of the employers won't even know this kind of certification, and it will not make you stand out in the crowd of applications. If we look at the content, the Google Project Management Certification covers basic PM methodologies, project planning, as well as project tools like Jira and Trello. You actually get hands-on assignments and learn how to structure and plan a project accordingly. As for the cost, it is a rather low time and money investment. You need a Coursera subscription, which after a 7-day free trial will cost you around $50 per month, and people report that they typically study for this kind of course for around 1 to 4 months. My conclusion on the Google Project Management Certification is that it is a great way for people that have no experience in the PM field to gain some basic understanding and get the foot in the door, especially as it is recognized in the US. For mid to senior level project managers, I would not recommend this kind of course, especially if you want to use it as leverage to get a higher salary or to get a promotion. I think in that case, it is too basic and it will be a waste of your time and your money. Number 4 on the list is the Scrum Master. Now, for Scrum Masters, there are several different certifications that you can get, with PSM and CSM being some of the most popular ones out there. Often, companies want you to have Scrum or Agile experience, but they don't care so much about whether that's PSM or CSM. If you want me to make a separate video on the best Scrum certifications, just drop a comment down below. Scrum Master certificates like the PSM, which is one that I've personally done too, are specifically popular in software, tech, and organizations that are just agile focused and are delivering digital products. It is well respected and known in the States and EU, and also gaining traction in the UK, even though their CSM is still more often mentioned in job postings. The course itself covers team facilitation, iterative planning, Scrum ceremonies, and so on. It will mainly help you stand out in entry to mid-level positions, and it will signal your agile skills as well as your ability to work in cross-functional teams. I would say it's more so theory-focused though, rather than giving you actual hands-on practical experience and guidance. From my experience, Scrum certifications will be specifically useful if you're looking to go into a Scrum Master role, whereas if you want to keep it more open to hybrid and traditional project management options, then other certifications will be your go-to. Now, the training for the PSM in particular now costs around $1,000, where the exam comes on top with another $200. It is self-paced and typically requires around 1 to 2 weeks to study and pass the exam. It is cost-effective if you want to get formal recognition for your Scrum skills, but the return on investment is not really that high if you actually want to gain practical knowledge. In conclusion, Scrum certifications like the PSM are particularly good for entry to mid-level project managers who already know they want to be in a facilitation, Scrum Master type of role in Europe or the US. If you want to keep it more broad and open, I would not necessarily recommend that type of certification, as it is quite niche. Number 3 on the list is the PMI ACP, so the Agile Certified Practitioner from the Project Management Institute. Now, this certification I got myself recently, and if you want to check out the video I made about it, I'll put it somewhere up there. The PMI ACP is increasingly demanded in tech, software, digital products, and so on. It is globally recognized since the Project Management Institute is a well-established player. I would say it is more relevant at the moment in the States and Europe, and here specifically in the private sector, versus the UK and specifically also the public sectors are still more heavily relying on the traditional certifications. What it does is that it mainly signals to employers that you have modern, agile project delivery skills. As it does require prior project management experience of at least 2 years, it is less applicable for entry-level positions and more so suitable for mid to high senior level project managers who are seeking, for example, to get a promotion, get a high salary, or maybe for formal recognition before they switch the company. It covers several agile methodologies, so not just Scrum, but also Kanban, Lean, XP programming, and so on. It less so teaches you the very traditional predictive project approaches like the waterfall method, but it does teach you some hybrid approaches. In terms of practicality, especially the exam is actually focused around very scenario and situation-based questions, whereas I would say the course content itself is rather theory-based, where you will also have to learn a lot of ceremonies and artifacts by heart. The exam itself costs around $500, whereas the training that is obligatory can range from anywhere from $20 to $500, depending on where you take the course from. I studied and passed the exam within 3 weeks while working full-time, but I would say typically it takes around 1 to 3 months. The return on investment, I think, is very high, especially if you're in agile heavy industries, and it can actually improve your application and your salary. But if you're in a more traditional industry, it won't be as valuable to you. In conclusion, I would definitely recommend the PMI ACP for mid to senior level project managers, as it covers agile methodologies more broadly than the Scrum Master. It is less cost and time intensive than PRINCE2 or the PMP, and therefore I would say it's a good middle way. Number 2 on the list is the PRINCE2 Practitioner. This one is extremely respected in the UK and also parts of Europe, but more so in the public sector or in regulated and traditional industries like architecture or engineering. It has less weight in the US and is less often mentioned as a requirement in job applications. As for the content, it mainly covers project governance, risk management, budget planning, stakeholder management, and more traditional skills like those. As it focuses more on traditional and formal project approaches, it is not as applicable in agile or even hybrid project environments. The training costs around $1,000 and the exam itself on top is another $300. It is widely said to be a little easier than the PMP in terms of study intensity, and people usually pass it within 1 to 3 months. As you don't need prior project management experience, it is suitable for entry-level positions, but I would say it's even more valuable for mid-level positions who want to add extra credibility to their CV. In conclusion, I would recommend the PRINCE2 Practitioner, especially for mid-level project managers in the UK and in the public sector. Now, finally, number 1 on the list is PMP, the Project Management Professionals Certification from PMI, the Project Management Institute. Now, the PMP is a very globally recognized and respected project management certification. It is mainly great for the private sector and multinational companies in the States and in Europe, and it often shows up in job requirements specifically for senior level project managers. The UK, on the other hand, is still leaning more so towards the PRINCE2. PMP certainly signals experience and the ability to manage strategic and complex projects. In many companies, it is actually a gatekeeper for getting a promotion or a higher pay, as it does require 3 to 5 years of prior project management experience. It is definitely more so suitable for senior level project managers. It covers both traditional and agile methodologies, but if you compare it with the PMI ACP, of course, the PMP is more focused on traditional predictive project management and project delivery approaches. It includes realistic scenarios, but keep in mind that it's also very number focused, and it will require you to do complex calculations and even learn a couple of formulas by heart. As for the cost, the training is priced similarly to the PMI ACP, so somewhere between $50 to $400 depending on where you get the training course from. The exam is actually another $700 on top of the training costs, and it takes around 3 to 6 months of preparation from what I've seen and heard from others. The return on investment, I would say, is first and foremost high for senior project managers. So in conclusion, if you have a lot of time and money to spend, but you are a senior level project manager in the States or in Europe, then you should definitely go for it, as it can add a lot of value to your application, to your CV, and to your job on a daily basis. In general, you can see that the best project management certification for you depends on a lot of factors, such as your own experience, the country and the market that you're in, the industry that you're in, and how much time and money you have to spend on such a certification. What you can always do is scan job search pages like Indeed or LinkedIn, type in the keywords like PMP or Prince2, and see how many project management roles are actually coming up that have these types of certifications, either as a requirement or even as a nice to have. That can give you a good indication of how popular and how high in demand that certification in your market and in your industry actually is. If you're looking to get promoted within your own company, I would definitely recommend talking to your boss to understand how much they value certifications like this and how much it will actually contribute to you getting a promotion. In the description below, I put a link with an overview table of all the course certifications we were talking about in this video, as well as all the criteria. So you have it in one central place and can look it up for when you're about to actually make the decision. If you want help finding the right certification for your personal situation, you can sign up for a one-on-one session through a link in the description or in my bio. Thank you so much for watching, and see you here next time.